Title: A Date to Remember. Taylor Swift's Tears of Joy, ***. The sun was setting over the horizon, casting a warm glow on the intimate backyard of a cozy Nashville mansion. The air was crisp, filled with the soft rustling of autumn leaves as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce sat together on the wooden swing, swaying gently. It had been months of public speculation, of hidden glances, and whispered conversations about when he would finally pop the question. But tonight was different. Tonight, Taylor could feel something in the air, something electric, something about to change everything. Travis, ever the composed figure, had been acting a little off all day. There was an excitement in his eyes, and it wasn't the kind that usually came with game-winning touchdowns. No, this was something else entirely. "I've been thinking a lot, Tay," he began, his deep voice filled with a tenderness she hadn't heard before. Taylor turned to him, her heart skipping a beat. She could feel her stomach twist, her thoughts racing with the possibility that this moment was finally upon them. "About what?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Travis took a deep breath, holding her gaze as he gently took her hand in his. "About us. About the future. And about how I don't want to wait any longer. You've been my muse, my rock, my everything. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I want to make sure the world knows that. I want you to feel secure in this love. We're not just a headline, Taylor, we're forever." A single tear formed in the corner of Taylor's eye, but she blinked it away, trying to mask her emotions. Travis reached up, his thumb gently wiping the tear before it could fall. "I know we've had our share of bumps in the road," Travis continued, his voice thick with emotion. "But I know you're the one. And I want to make sure that the first day of the rest of our lives together is perfect. So, I've set a date." Taylor's eyes widened, her heart leapt into her throat. "A date? What do you mean?" Travis smiled warmly, leaning in close, his forehead resting against hers. "I've set the date for our engagement. It's happening, Tay. The world will know, and we'll start our journey together as partners in this crazy life." Taylor's breath caught in her chest, the weight of his words sinking in. "When?" she asked, barely able to contain the flood of emotions rising within her. "Next spring. Right when the flowers bloom and the world feels new again," he whispered. "I'll ask you, in front of our families, in front of everyone who's ever believed in us. I promise you this, Taylor, I'll love you through it all." Taylor's tears flowed freely now, but they weren't tears of sorrow. They were tears of pure, unfiltered joy. She had waited for this moment, but somehow it felt more real than she could have ever imagined. She pulled him into a tight hug, holding him close as if she never wanted to let go. "I can't believe it," she whispered into his chest. "You're my forever." And in that moment, as the world around them seemed to stop, they both knew that this love story, one for the ages, was just beginning. A date had been set, but their future together was far more than any date could encapsulate. Travis held her tighter, and with a soft chuckle, he whispered, "And no one else better be stealing the spotlight at that wedding, all right?" Laughing through her tears, Taylor nodded, her heart full. "No one else, Trav. Just us." And as the stars began to twinkle overhead, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce held onto each other, ready for the next chapter in their fairy tale romance. Title: Tears of Joy. The day Travis finally sets the date, ***. It was an early autumn evening in Nashville, the kind where the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a soft golden hue over the city. Taylor Swift was sitting on the porch of her cozy home, her guitar resting by her side as she gazed out at the horizon. Her heart was full, not just with the success of her latest album, but with a love that had blossomed unexpectedly. Travis Kelce, her boyfriend of a little over a year, had become more than just a partner. He was her anchor, her calm in the storm. They had shared countless moments of joy together, late-night dinners, lazy Sunday afternoons, and spontaneous trips that made their love feel like a beautiful, unfolding adventure. But lately, Taylor had been wondering about the future, specifically the future of *them. She had always been a hopeless romantic, writing songs about love that transcended time, and yet, there was one thing she had yet to experience in this chapter of her life: the proposal. She hadn't said anything, but there was a part of her that longed for a more concrete sign. A moment when she would know for certain that Travis was ready to take that next step. It wasn't that she doubted him, no, she could see the love in his eyes every time he looked at her, but the waiting, the wondering, tugged at her heart. Just as the thoughts began to spiral, Her phone buzzed on the table beside her. It was a text from Travis. Asterisk. Hey, babe. How about dinner tonight? I have a surprise for you. Asterisk. Taylor's heart fluttered. She couldn't help but smile, her curiosity piqued. As the evening approached, she slipped into a simple but elegant dress and made her way to the restaurant where they had their first date. She had no idea what the surprise could be, but she had learned by now that with Travis, it could be anything. A spontaneous getaway, a heartfelt letter, or perhaps something even more special. When she arrived, she was led to a private corner of the restaurant, where Travis was waiting. He looked dashing in a well-tailored suit, but it was the soft, secretive smile on his face that caught her attention. Hey, beautiful, he said, standing to greet her with open arms. You look stunning as always. Taylor's heart raced as she slid into the seat across from him. There was something different in his eyes tonight, a mix of excitement and tenderness that made her pulse quicken. Okay, tell me, what's the surprise? She asked, her voice teasing. Travis leaned forward, his expression turning serious, yet his eyes sparkled with joy. I've been thinking about something for a while now, he began. And I realized that sometimes, life doesn't give you perfect timing. But it does give you the right moments. And this is the right moment. Taylor's breath caught in her throat as Travis reached into his pocket, pulling out a small velvet box. She gasped, her hand flying to her mouth as her heart skipped a beat. Taylor Swift, he said, his voice filled with emotion. You've made me the happiest man in the world. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So, I'm asking you now. Will you marry me? The world seemed to stop. Taylor's eyes filled with tears, tears of joy, of relief, of pure love. She couldn't contain the overwhelming flood of emotions that rushed through her. Travis had always been there for her, but this moment asterisk, was everything. It was the culmination of all their shared dreams, all their late-night talks, and all the quiet moments that had shaped their relationship. Yes, she whispered, barely able to speak through her tears. Yes, of course I will. Travis's smile widened as he slid the ring onto her finger, a perfect fit. He stood up, pulling her into his arms, and they shared a kiss that spoke volumes, a kiss of promise, of forever. As they pulled away, Taylor wiped the tears from her eyes, still in disbelief that the man she loved was now her fiancé. I've waited so long for this, she said softly, her voice trembling. And now, it's real. Travis chuckled, his hand resting on her cheek. I wanted to make sure you never had to wait again, he said. So, we're setting the date, Tay. I want to marry you sooner rather than later. And in that moment, as Taylor looked at the man she had once only dreamed of, she knew that this chapter, this beautiful, tear-filled chapter, was only the beginning of their forever. Title: Tears of Joy. Taylor Swift's engagement surprise, asterisk. It was an evening like no other. Taylor Swift sat at the grand piano in the cozy corner of their shared home, her fingers lightly grazing the keys as soft melodies filled the air. The house was quiet, save for the occasional crackle from the fireplace. Travis Kelce was upstairs, preparing something special. Taylor had no idea what he was up to, but he'd been unusually secretive all day, a stark contrast to his usual playful demeanor. For months, rumors swirled about their relationship, from the whispers of a blossoming romance to discussions about the inevitable engagement. But despite all the speculation, Travis had always kept things private, teasing Taylor with a glint in his eye whenever the topic came up. As the sun began to set, the door to the music room creaked open. Taylor looked up, her curiosity piqued. Travis stood there, a charming smile on his face, holding a small box in his hand. She raised an eyebrow. What's this? She asked, her voice betraying a mix of amusement and confusion. Travis stepped forward, gently placing the box on the piano in front of her. I have a question for you, Tay. Her heart skipped a beat. Could this be the moment? Taylor's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the box, the reality of what might be happening hitting her. Travis knelt down in front of her, his expression sincere, his eyes locking with hers. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I can't wait any longer. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, no matter where it takes us. Taylor blinked rapidly, fighting back the tears that were already beginning to well up in her eyes. Will you marry me? Travis asked, his voice steady, filled with hope. Taylor's chest tightened, and she felt the tears spill over before she could even speak. She nodded vigorously, barely able to contain her emotions. Yes, yes, Travis, 1,000 times yes. The room was suddenly filled with the sound of laughter and joy as Travis stood, pulling her into his arms. Taylor's tears of joy soaked into his shirt as he kissed her forehead, his hands cradling her face gently. "I've never seen you like this before," Travis whispered, his voice filled with awe. "I can't believe this is happening," Taylor replied, her voice shaky with emotion. "I've dreamed of this moment, but I never imagined it would be this perfect." Travis grinned, his eyes glimmering. "It's perfect because it's with you, Tay. I've been planning this for months, and now, here we are." They shared a quiet moment, holding each other close. Outside, the world carried on, but for Taylor and Travis, time seemed to stand still. This was their moment. A beginning of a new chapter, one filled with love, laughter, and the promise of forever. As they sat on the couch, the engagement ring shining on her finger, Taylor couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. What started as a whirlwind romance had blossomed into something deeper, something more beautiful than she ever imagined. And now, the future was theirs to create, hand in hand. With tears still fresh on her cheeks, Taylor smiled up at Travis. "I can't wait to marry you." "I can't wait either," he replied, his smile widening as he kissed her softly. "The best part is, this is just the beginning."